James Schwab resigned in protest over ICE raids that triggered a backlash against Oakland Mayor Libby Schaaf.
CBS reporter Jamie Yuccas was interviewing Schwab as federal agents suddenly showed up at his door. Here's her story.
Tensions were running high in February over a series of raids carried out by federal agents with Immigration and Customs Enforcement, or ICE. With the guidance of his superiors in Washington, D.C., it fell to James Schwab to communicate with journalists about those raids.
The day before the operation took place, the Oakland mayor surprised us and announced our operation.
Here's my message to Mayor Schaaf. How dare you?
How dare you distort the reality?
She was putting your officers' lives potentially in danger.
Correct. We end up arresting 232, which is 16% higher than our highest estimates. So internally, that was considered a success, but what they publicly said was that she let people go.
And that wasn't true
It's
to you?
not true, right?
Schwab helped craft a statement to the media, saying some of them were able to elude us thanks to the mayor's irresponsible decision. He was comfortable with that statement, he says, because it included the words "some of."
This is a spin statement. This is what every public affairs officer does.
A week later, Attorney General Jeff Sessions' language was noticeably different.
ICE failed to make 800 arrests that would have been made if the mayor had not made her statement. Those are 800 wanted criminals that are now at large in that community.
That made you uncomfortable.
Completely false. Yes, that made me extremely uncomfortable.
When reporters asked him to clarify the discrepancy, Schwab says he was instructed by his superiors in Washington to simply refer to the original statement he drafted, without disputing Sessions' version of events.
After they failed to correct it, it's a flat-out lie. They know it's a lie. It was just shocking to me that no one wanted to fix that.
Troubled by what he saw as public deception, Schwab turned in his resignation.
I could not fathom staying at an organization that was okay with lying to the American public. I hate that. In 17 years, in the military, at the Department of Defense as a civilian, at NASA, and now at Homeland Security, I have never been asked to lie. I have never been asked to perpetuate a lie, which is the same as lying.
When we talked to Schwab on Wednesday, some 3 months after he quit, we were interrupted by a surprise. The men identified themselves as agents from the Department of Homeland Security Inspector General's office.
No, we can't speak with you.
Well, why are you guys here?
I can't speak with you about that, but if you give me your name and number, I can have our
Do you often
contact
just come
you.
to people's homes?
Yeah, it's part of my job.
Okay.
So, you'll
Is
call
this
me?
about the incident
Please
that
don't
happened with
interrupt.
James?
Are you going to call me?
We're in his home, so I have
Yeah,
every
well,
right
I'm
to
talking to him. This is confidential, okay? Do you want to talk to me?
I'll talk to you
Okay, great. When can we talk?
as soon as I contact my lawyer.
Okay?
Yeah.
You'll call me and let me know if you
Absolutely.
can't talk?
Do you have a card that I could take
No.
from you? What was that about?
They just said that they wanted to talk to me about the leak with the Oakland mayor. They would like to have an interview with me about the Oakland mayor's leak.
Were you surprised to see them?
Completely shocked, unexpected.
Did you ever contact the Oakland mayor's office?
No, I've never met her before. I never contacted
You didn't
Libby
email?
Schaaf.
You
I
didn't
never
leak any
emailed.
information?
Never. I would never tell her. I would never tell anyone. They were very serious. He was very stern with me, and it was concerning.
Do you think that was an intimidation technique?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Why 3 months later are we doing this? This is intimidation. And this is why people won't come out and speak against the government.
Wow.
Well, CBS News correspondent Jamie Yuccas joins us now. This is so weird. You guys are there doing the interview, and Homeland Security shows up. Coincidental? Did you reach out to ICE? What did they tell you?
Well, I can tell you that we did reach out to ICE, and they disagree with Schwab's claims that he was ordered to lie, but do believe that the Oakland mayor's warning helped targets evade arrest, and that even one criminal on the street, they say, is a public safety risk. Also, back in March, a bipartisan group of senators did call on the Inspector General to investigate Schwab's resignation. When we talked to the Department of Justice today, they said, you know, that would open up to have somebody come talk to him at his home.
You're in his home. You have cameras rolling. It must have been just as much of a shock to see you as they saw, you know, Coincidence?
Well, what was interesting is when we first heard the knock at the door, I assumed, Amazon delivery, UPS, I don't know. He had his family in his home. They wanted to come watch the interview and were there to support him. The family initially went down the stairs, and all of a sudden the knocks got louder as they were approaching the stairs. The family members open up the door and start having a conversation. They say security is what I hear. I look at my producer who's with me, and he said, I think they said Homeland Security. And that's when James, you could tell, felt really uncomfortable. He took the microphone off. He goes down the stairs himself. He has a little bit of conversation before I go down the stairs. And he starts saying, what is this about? What is this about? They will not answer him. Initially, then eventually say that it's about the Oakland mayor. That's when I step in and start trying to talk to them. But it was very confusing to everyone as to why they were there. We don't know if they knew if we were in the house or not. It was pretty wide open that he was going to start doing some media interviews. So we don't know if they were coming to talk to him about that, if it was about the investigation that's now open, or what the case may be.
And bottom line, he says ICE, Homeland Security, told him to lie.
That's how he feels. He feels that once the Department of Justice and Jeff Sessions came out and said that specific phrase, and then they never corrected it about the 800 criminals who are now on the street that they couldn't get, he said that that was not factually correct. They kept asking him to perpetuate that. He did not feel comfortable with that, and it was the language, and that's why he left.
Absolutely. Well, Jamie, thank you for being here on set.
Thanks.
Appreciate it.
More on Jamie's reporting coming up on the CBS Evening News. Thanks. As for Mayor Schaaf, she described the knock on Schwab's door as, quote, the sound of tyranny.
The idea that the Trump administration is continuing to intimidate and vilify good public servants, someone who has stood up for the simple idea that government should not lie, just offends everything I believe about government and democracy.
Well, the mayor says that no one from the Justice Department has come knocking on her door just yet, but she is, quote, preparing for the worst.